Right. Andrew Coleman and Jack Lane, executive producer for Stages. And Andrew, thanks for joining us here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you.
Good to be here, as always.
32nd year?
32nd, yep.
You've been there for every one of these things, haven't you?
32, yeah.
Wow.
I know. Crazy.
Take us back 32 years ago.
Oh, wow.
How did this all start?
I met Michael Hamilton, who was the artistic director, when he was directing me in a production of West Side Story. I was an actor. I was playing Tony in West Side Story. I'm from New York, and he talked about a dream of having a theater company in his hometown of St. Louis. And I said, oh, that's nice. Right. And then I got kind of bored being an actor. I wanted to be more creative. So in 86, we said, let's check it out. In 87, we opened. And opened with a budget of $50,000, which we thought was ginormous.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's a $5 million budget.
Yeah.
And it's one of the big regional companies. And the city of Kirkwood is really kind of building us and Kirkwood Theater Guild a $24 million performing arts center.
Now, talk about that for a second. You go from a $50,000 budget to a brand new theater, which is the second. This is the second theater, right? Or the...
Well, we're in the Rhyme. We've been in the Rhyme Theater for 32 years,
Okay.
and we purchased the Synagogue in Chesterfield for the Academy
Okay.
about 5 years ago. But this has, been in the plans for about 15 years ago. I tried to make this happen in Kirkwood, and it just wasn't the time.
Right.
But we've got a brilliant and supportive administration right now that wants it to happen, and we're all now talking about the new Kirkwood that will happen because of this Performing Arts Center.
And when is this going to open up?
2020 is the date. So we hope that we have one more season, or two more seasons
Right.
at the Rhyme, and then 2020 we should be moving into the pack.
And how'd you find Andrew?
Andrew was an intern 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
He
yeah.
was the arts and education, was it
the
Anheuser-Busch
Apprentice
or
for
something?
Theater Leadership by Boeing and
By Boeing,
the
it
Arts
was
and
Boeing,
Education
right.
Council.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he
nice.
just kind of worked his way up to now he is associate producer, and he is just taking over the world. Because I won't be here forever. I will not be here forever.
Don't say it ain't so.
Yeah,
Say it ain't so.
yeah.
Andrew, how'd you get the bug?
You know, I was an acting major in college, and I like to say I was literally bitten by the acting bug because the first show I did, I was playing Santa in a Christmas pageant and got hives from the beard and was rushed off stage to the hospital. It was crazy, and I was hooked ever since. So, and now I fell in love with producing and met Jack through my internship, and him and I have just always worked really, really well together. So
Now, when you guys produce, because you've produced, you have some Tonys, which I'm really shocked we're 5 minutes into this interview you haven't mentioned, but I will.
I do. I have two.
You have a closet full
I
of
have
Tonys.
no
just,
Tonys.
just
But
bookends.
now we have enough time to talk about this for a moment. But when you look at a play to produce, what do you look for in terms of a play to produce, whether to do something here in town, but more importantly on Broadway? What do you look for?
Two things. One, it has to touch my heart. It has to have an emotional resonance. And I have to have a sense that there's going to be a big enough audience for it that it could make money for my investors. That's
So,
simple.
That's it.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
if you like it and it touches you in a way, that's the first step.
And I've picked some really quirky shows
Right.
of the five that I produced on Broadway.
Right.
But they've all really, really touched me. So it's easy to sell them.
Gotcha. And what about you?
You know, I always like to think I've only produced here in St. Louis so far with Stages and helped Jack a little bit on assisting some stuff. But here in St. Louis, I always like to look for variety in our season, from classical to contemporary to those
Right.
hidden gems of musical theater. And that's what we always try to do every year, is find a cornucopia of musical
like-
theater.
Oh, there's a real producer.
Yeah,
word.
see, there you
That's
go.
a segue to one of the gems is I Do, which
Okay.
I know you met. It was Corinne and
Steve.
Right.
on the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a 50-year-old musical.
So
and
this starts Friday,
It starts on Friday,
and it runs
Yeah.
through July 1st.
Yeah.
And I Do. Tell us about it.
I Do. It is a story of a 50-year marriage. Starts in 1895, goes to 1945, and it's about companionship. And anyone can really relate to this show if you've had that kind of a relationship, whether it's a marriage or a partnership or longtime companion. It's something you'll really be touched by it. Speaking of emotional resonance,
Right.
this has so much emotional resonance, and the four actors we have, they're the best.
Yeah. Now you've also done it where this is interesting, where you have two separate casts.
Yeah,
We do.
you have to have understudies with something like this. So we thought, well, let's not have understudies. Let's have two separate rotating casts. So if by chance one of the actors gets sick, you replace the couple. Because these couples are really matched.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where they have their own costumes, their own wigs, everything. It's treated as if they're two separate productions.
That's why you guys are the producers. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. And then, we also want, as from a marketing standpoint, we want people to come back and see it a second time.
second
Right,
time.
it's a second
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
And, as people are leaving the theater, we're giving them special offers to come back to see
You
it
got
a
to see it the second time.
We
See
got
the
it.
other cast.
There
Yeah.
you go. Again, smart producing. All right, so 32nd season starts June 1st, Friday, with I Do, I Do. And then what else is coming up in the season? Mamma Mia,
Mamma
too.
Mia, Madagascar, which is our family
show.
Emerson Family Theater production.
Okay.
And then Oklahoma, which is the 75th anniversary of Oklahoma.
With a Siri on top. Now,
Yes.
you have, I'm short on time, you have a special offer
Yeah.
for this show, I Do, I Do.
We have two special offers. I'll do the first one. Anyone who has been married 50 years or more, we would like them to come as our guests to see I Do, I Do. And there are specific performances where we'll give them complimentary tickets. They need to go to the box office in Kirkwood or Chesterfield starting today. And it's that simple. Last year we did it for the vets, for South Pacific. World
Yeah.
War II vets got in for free.
That's a great
and
deal.
It was really, really incredible. Every single performance was so touching, seeing the vets come in.
Yeah.
And we want to just kind of say, wow, we've been married or together or
The
partners for
least
50
you have
years.
put up with each other for 50
50
years, the
years,
least you can do is get a free ticket
You're
to
gonna
stages.
see
That's right.
I Do, I Do at stages. So
And what's the second one?
We've also got a special promo for this weekend's evening performances where you can save up to 30% on tickets. Now, for that promo, you can contact the box office. You can call, click, visit us online, or head into the box office, like Jack said, in Kirkwood or Chesterfield.
And what's the website?
The website is stagesstlewis.org.
Jacqueline, Andrew Coleman, June 1st, the 32nd season of Stages kicks off in Kirkwood. Guys, you're always welcome here. Thanks for coming in.